Greetings and welcome to today's session. Again, we are continuing with our October KABS ICT Paper 1 set. Last time we looked at item 1 for this September-October Paper 1 KABS ICT Resources Center paper. We looked at Paper 1 and we had covered item 1 fully, which was saying that BF Secondary School is one of the greatest performing schools in your location, etc, etc. So today, I want us to look at section B, part 1, where we are going to focus on item 2. And this is what item 2 says. Your sister, who has finished her university course, has been employed by one of the most prominent financial institutions in your location. The institution has computerized most of her work, and she is tasked with a lot of work, which keeps her busy for long hours using ICTs. This has made her experience some health issues. In her office, there are several ICTs that broke down because the institution has been servicing the ICTs through unprofessional technicians. The institution head has asked your sister to properly handle the broken down ICTs. However, she lacks the knowledge on how best to handle her challenges and has approached you for help. Task: guide your sister on how to efficiently handle her challenges. So to begin with, a candidate must first look at the key areas to handle in this item. Remember, item 2 is from the second element of construct, which says appreciate ICT safety and proper management of e-waste. Now, in our task, for example, we are looking at this person is working for longer hours and has started experiencing some health issues. That means that now our element of construct is fulfilled here in item 2, where we are seeing health-related issues from prolonged ICT usage. Then, in her offices, there are several ICTs that broke down because the institution has been servicing them using unprofessional technicians. So meaning that we have ICT junk there, which you can call e-waste. So meaning that in our guide, we are going to be looking at some of those health issues, what causes them, and their solutions, or how to prevent them, how to reduce them, how to mitigate them. Then in our guide to the sister, we are also going to see how we are going to properly handle the ICT junk by bringing out the measures, the stakeholders, and their roles. That is what we are going to handle in our guide. So before we handle this guide, I would like us to look at these books that are very vital at O level and at A level. ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, the second edition. It has notes from senior 1 to senior 4. It is a practical guide and theory. So meaning that any learner from senior 1 to senior 4 needs this book because it covers both theory and practical. It has notes, senior 1 to senior 4. It has items and their solutions. It has activities of integrations, their evaluation grids, and solutions. It even has tips to candidates passing ICT. So this is one of the greatest resource that a student needs, that even a teacher needs in guiding the students. Now, let's look at how best can we respond to this item by guiding our sister. So a candidate must label or number the work very well. So here is our section B, part 1, item 2. To begin with, my sister has started work at a large, highly computerized financial institution. Longer hours on computers without good ergonomics can harm her health, and poor handling or disposal of broken devices can pollute the environment or leak confidential data. Some equipment has already failed after unqualified repairs, and the institution's head has asked her to manage the broken ICTs properly. In light of this guide shows her how to protect her health, reduce environmental and data risks from damaged equipment, and run a clear, compliant e-waste or ICT junk management plan. So here is our introduction. So this introduction will carry one weight. So from here, I would like us to address the health issues from prolonged ICT use that my sister could be facing. First and foremost, there is eye strain, which you can call eye dryness, or what you can call blurred vision. This arises from long screen time that reduces blinking, glare or reflections from windows or overhead lights, or it can be caused by small fonts or low contrast, a screen that is too close or too far, or dry air from AC or fans. All these are causes of eye strain, dry eyes, or blurred vision. So this is the cause, or we are having the consequence as eye strain, and it is caused by that. To prevent it, I would advise my sister to raise text to 110 or to 125%, and also increase contrast. Keep the monitor 50 to 70 centimeters away with the top at eye level. Use anti-glare filter or curtains, or switch on night light after 7 p.m. and prefer flicker-free displays. So all these are mitigation measures, but at least one is preferred. So here is our mitigation measures. Next, headaches. Common causes include brightness mismatch between screen and room light, forward head posture straining neck muscles, constant noise or vibrations. These can be from the AC, they can be from the printers, or even the headsets, and dehydration. To fix this quickly, it is more so important to match screen brightness to room light, or keep the screen at eye level with a neutral neck. More to that, take micro breaks of 2 to 3 minutes every 30 to 45 minutes, and lower headset volume while reducing ambient noise where possible. So headache as one of the consequences from prolonged ICT use. we are saying to fix this. So this is our mitigation measure. In addition, neck pain. This is forward head posture. This comes from a laptop set too low or far, or looking down for longer periods, and cradling the phone between ear and the shoulder. So this consequence of neck pain, to maintain neutral posture, best practice would be use a laptop raiser with an external keyboard or mouse. Wear a headset for calls and keep the screen centered and at eye level parallel to your gaze. So this is a mitigation measure or a preventive measure to avoid neck pain. Furthermore, shoulder tension. It's typically caused by reaching for the mouse or keyboard, armrests set too high, what you can call shoulder elevation, or a desk that's too high or wide, forcing the arm abduction. So this consequence of shoulder tension, to reduce strain, the sister is encouraged to keep the mouse or keyboard close with elbows at 90 to 100 degrees and adjust or remove armrests that push shoulders upward. So this is our mitigation measure. Also, we have what we call lower back pain or backache. Causes include scratching, lack of lumbar support, prolonged sitting, and substandard furniture. This one, we are saying that to stabilize the spine, I would advise her to provide an ergonomic chair with lumbar support, so hips are slightly above knees. Keep the feet flat or use a footrest, and take frequent stand or stretch breaks. So this is our mitigation measure. Beyond that, we have wrist pain. This stems from wrist extension, stroke, deviation, hard desk edges, excess clicking or force, and non-ergonomic keyboards. To protect the wrists, one safeguard is to keep neutral wrists with a soft edge or wrist rest. Use a flat or negative tilt keyboard. Type with a light touch and more shortcuts to reduce mouse use, and consider ergonomic keyboards. Additionally, we have repetitive strain injury, which is general. The root cause are repetitive micro movements when typing or using the mouse, no micro breaks, and a single task posture with no rotation. To counter this, it is advisable to take frequent short breaks, add task variation or rotation, and use ergonomic input devices such as vertical mouse or split keyboard. So this is our MT. So more and more and more, find them in the video description. Find all these in the video description. Lastly, I can talk about stress or depression. This stems from high work load or deadlines, or even constant notifications, low control or autonomy, and blurred work-life boundaries. So this stress, we are saying that to support well-being, the best practice would be to prioritize 3 key tasks. We can have batch messages or agree response windows with the team and use EAP counseling services where available. So this is a mitigation measure as we conclude the health issues, the consequences that result from prolonged ICT usage, and then their mitigation measures. So here we have so far addressed some of those health issues, and now I would like us to see how the sister is going to handle the broken ICTs. So please grab a copy of ICT Mastery to enjoy more of what we have been saying. For A level, we have Mastering Subsidiary ICT, which is for Senior 6. We have Learner's Book for the aligned curriculum. It is a competence-based theory and practical approach. This Learner's Book has its teacher's guide, where all the activities in Learner's Book are responded to. More to that, we have for Senior 5, still for the aligned curriculum, a competence-based theory and practical approach, Senior 5 Learner's Book. This book also has its teacher's guide. All the activities in the Learner's Book are responded to, comprehensive notes, and a guide to how the teachers can handle the competence-based at A level, which we called the aligned A level curriculum. Now, I want us to handle how the sister is going to handle the broken ICT junk. So, before we handle the broken ICT junk that are scattered around, these have danger to the environment, etc. To start with, the heavy materials, they can lead to soil leach, or they make the land unproductive and they affect the crops. This is to say, when broken e-waste is dumped, such as the CTRs with lead or old LCD lamps with mercury, or batteries or components with cadmium, rain and runoffs carry these materials into soil and groundwater. They accumulate in soils, they damage crops and plants, and bioaccumulate up the food chain. For example, the old CTRs and mixed circuit boards thrown into an open pit, they contaminate nearby gardens and boreholes used by staff communities. So this is a consequence of the broken ICT equipment. Next, we have water contamination, that is in streams, wells, and aquatic life. Exposed piles of boards, cables, and plastics wash toxins such as lead, mercury, plastic additives into drains, wells, and streams during rain, making drinking water unsafe and harming aquatic life through bioaccumulation. Example, you can talk of those motherboards and cables stacked beside a perimeter drain. They leach into a local stream after heavy rain. Another consequence of this ICT junk, we are looking at toxic smoke from burning. It can cause air pollution and affect health by causing maybe respiratory diseases. Informal burning of cables and casings to recover copper releases dioxins or furans and other toxic gases, causing air pollution and respiratory illness in workers and nearby residents. For example, Cable burning on a vacant lot near homes leads to persistent smoke and complaints of breathing difficulties. More to that, we have battery hazards and fires. Damaged or shorted, what you can call the shorted lion, or those batteries can overheat. They leak corrosives, or they can ignite, creating fire risks in stores, trucks, and offices, and causing chemical burns or what you can call contamination. For example, a swollen laptop battery tossed in general waste ignites during compaction in a collection truck. So these are consequences of the ICT junk. In addition, toner or ink and plastic pollution. Discarded toner cartridges and ink tanks release fine particulates and dyes, while their plastic shells persist for decades and fragment into microparticles that enter air and indoor dust. For example, a pile of spent cartridges behind the store sheds toner into the soil every rain season. So here we are looking at pollution as a consequence. Beyond that, resource loss. When e-waste goes to landfill, landfilling whole devices waste recoverable materials such as copper, gold, and aluminum. These ones, we are seeing that they are going to cause a high carbon footprint and needless procurement costs. That is what we are calling resource loss. For example, motherboards and servers sent to dumps instead of certified recyclers for materials recovery. So this is another consequence. To add on this, we have what we call backyard or acid or alkali extraction into water and work safety, where you find that uncontrolled acid or alkali baths used to strip metals create toxic effluent, several burn risks, and surface water contamination with long-lasting environmental damage. For example, informal gold recovery using nitric acid near a stream leaves dead vegetation and fish kills downstream. This is another consequence of the ICT junk. So there are a number of consequences that we can look at. To sum it up, because broken ICT equipment can poison soil and water, pollute air, spark fires, leak confidential data, waste recoverable materials, and trigger regulatory and reputational damage, the institution must adopt a clear, audited e-waste management program with policies, safeguard storage, secure data sensitization, certified recycling, and accountable stakeholder roles. Accordingly, the framework below translates those needs into practical actions my sister can implement immediately. Now, I want us to see how best we are going to manage the e-waste. To begin with, there is recycling, which sends non-repairable ICTs to licensed recyclers for safe material recovery. It cuts landfill, it reduces pollution, and recovers valuable with certificates for audits. This works best by involving the procurement officer, who is responsible for verifying the recycler licenses, signing contracts, and scheduling pickups. It can also work best by involving licensed recyclers, who handles weighing or processing and issues certificates of recycling. It can also work best by involving transporters, who can secure and keep e-waste manifest records. We can also involve local authorities like KCCA, and their role is to oversee compliance and site access during collections. Consequently, this enables my sister to manage the broken ICTs and e-waste correctly. So, we are having recycling as a measure. This means that here we shall put M, and then we are looking at procurement officer, who is a stakeholder. The licensed recycler is also a stakeholder. The transporters are the stakeholders. The local authorities are stakeholders. We have seen that the procurement, for example, its role is to verify the licenses of the recyclers. The licensed recyclers, their role is to ensure that they handle the e-waste. The local authorities, their role is to oversee. So each point must have a measure, a stakeholder, and the roles. Secondly, for hazardous residues, there is controlled incineration. For licensed only, used strictly for contaminated wipes or biologicals, never for ICT plastics or materials, because it destroys contaminants under emissions, control and prevents toxic open burning. Compliance is ensured by coordinating with NEMA, and the role of NEMA is in charge of facility licensing and emission enforcement. Compliance is also seen through Ministry of Health, which guides occupational health and exposure controls. Institutional ICT team, which classifies waste streams and authorizes compliant routing. UCC, its role aligns device or telecom e-waste policy across the sector. As a result, my sister can route hazardous items safely. Next, we have reuse or refill of consumables. As a measure, this one, it reduces costs and waste by refilling toner or ink via certified vendors and reusing approved cartridges while maintaining print quality. Sustain this cycle with manufacturers or importers. Their role is to run approved refill programs and honor warranties. We also have ICT associations or clubs. Their role, these are responsible for user education on safe refills and quality control. In turn, my sister sustains a clean and cheaper consumable cycle. Now, as a last resort, we have what we call landfill. Is limited to post-treatment residues sent to lined, approved cells with traceable manifests. Keep it lawful by liaising with NEMA, which approves routes and monitors compliance. Licensed landfill operators will pre-treat residues, transport them, and file manifests. while URA or customs can verify cross-border waste rules where applicable. Therefore, my sister keeps the process legal and documented. Now, one can grab this ICT for A level, which is a teacher's guide, and more to that. We have a step-by-step guide to designing websites using Expression Web. Grab a copy of Expression Web. All notes are there step by step. If not, grab a copy of a practical approach on designing websites using WordPress. It is a step-by-step guide to creating your own website the easy way out. Another method or another measure, in parallel with procurement cycles, we can have the take-back program. Has vendors to collect all the devices upon delivery of new ones. It ensures responsible processing, lower costs, and chain of custody proof. Implement this with the manufacturers or importers who provide take-back logistics and certificates. The IT team reconciles serials, sanitizes assets, and confirms counts. And users or departments will be responsible for handling over legacy devices on schedule. Thus, my sister can decommission equipment smoothly. More to that, we have prohibited outright on site, where we have acid bath or chemical recovery. Must occur only at licensed plants with effluent treatment to prevent contamination and injuries. The bans hold through NEMA enforces prohibitions and penalties. That is the role. The management or the IT team can lock the ban into policy and contracts, while Ministry of ICT or NITA Uganda are well known for issuing standards and national guidance. In doing so, my sister avoids high risk and illegal practices. Next, upstream, there is refuse procurement policy. Rejects obsolete or near end-of-life donations or used imports and mandates, for example, Energy Star devices or EPEAT with solid specs or specifications with warranty to curb future e-waste and energy bills. Embed this via procurement, who writes and enforces green specs in, for example, standard operating procedures, etc. URA or customs blocks non-compliant imports at entry points, and the Ministry of ICT, of course, those will provide green procurement guidance and templates. Ultimately, my sister prevents tomorrow's junk at the source. When recovering value, sell for cash to licensed refurbisher. Monetizes decommissioned assets after data sanitization. Extending device life with traceable paperwork. Execute this with finance, runs auctions, receives revenue, and manages tax compliance. The IT or security team perform sanitization, and retain or wipe or destruction logs. Licensed refurbisher tests, refurbishes, and resells and issues certificates. Therefore, my sister converts this e-waste into cash without risking data. Architecturally, we can have virtualization. As a measure, it replaces many PCs with thin clients or shared servers. It also reduces purchases, power use, and future e-waste, simplifying updates, etc. Deliver this through ICT architects who design, pilot, and scale the solution across departments. NITA Uganda, this one, it ensures interoperability and enforces national standards. While the procurement acquires licenses, negotiates vendor, and manages renewables. As a result, my sister reduces hardware churn at scale. For a security standpoint, secure data wiping and destruction. Use crypto erase or overwrite and physical shredding for failed or high-risk media to prevent breaches and meet audit or privacy rules. Close this risk gap with the IT security team who are going to define policy, operate tools, and verify results. Licensed recyclers or shredders, their role can shred. This can be on-site or off-site and issue certificates, while the internal audit are responsible for spot checks and evidence retention. Consequently, my sister safeguards information before disposal. For social impact, we can have donation as a measure. Places sanitized, safety or tested devices with schools, NGOs, or clubs to extend life. It also supports inclusion and reduce waste. We can coordinate with the schools or technicians who can handle the testing and acceptance. Legal compliance team, these ones will draft MOUs and approve recipients. ICT clubs or associates, their role is to place devices and train end users. In turn, my sister turns e-waste into social value. So there are a number of measures that we can use to handle the ICT junk, their stakeholders and laws. So please continue grabbing copies of Elite ICT from Senior 1 to Senior 4 and continue shining with ICT. So continue following me on this YouTube channel for more updates. Up next will be item 3, then we go to item 4 and item 5. Now let us conclude our item 2. In summary, with basic ergonomics, neutral posture, short regular breaks, balanced lighting, and a properly set monitor and desk, my sister will reduce eye strain, body aches, and fatigue while staying productive. Paired with disciplined e-waste practices such as using certified recycling agents or vendors or vendor take-back programs and secure data wiping before any device leaves office, she will protect the environment, protect data leaks, and meet NEMA or KCCA rules. Consequently, this leads to a healthier workplace, fewer breakdowns, lower costs, clear audit records, and a stronger reputation for the institution. So this is a conclusion, and it takes 1 score. So please reach out to me on this very number 7756-107-62 for any assistance. Now, I would like us to score this very item. While scoring item 2 and item 3, we have the following scoring codes. There is EC. This one stands for explanation of the causes or consequences. So our item wanted the consequences of prolonged ICT usage, and so here we are going to at least need 6 of them. Then each consequence must be provided with its mitigation measures, which we call the MT. So here also 6, and if each consequence has its measure well explained, this is 6 weights. Then more to that, we are going to have the PM code. PM stands for the explanation of the management measure, or you have provided the mitigation measure, especially there on e-waste. So under e-waste, we started with the consequences. Then we gave the measures. We gave the stakeholders and the roles. So with our consequences, at least a candidate should give 1 to 4 consequences. Then we need 4 measures, 4 stakeholders, and their roles. So this one will take 6. Then from there, we are looking at format of the presentation. Format of the presentation, which is FP. So FP, we have introduction, 0-1 score. We have A, which is arrangement of the work, given 2, because you have handled the EC and you have also handled the PM. Then the conclusion, CLN, also 1. So these are 4. So 6 plus 6, 12, plus 4, 16. So total, we have 16 for item 2 and item 3. So that is how we have worked on our score grid for item 2. So these are my contacts. Please call me and we have a discussion anytime, any day. Continue to follow me on my YouTube channel for the rest of the coming updates. Continue to secure these books because we need to do better in ICT now and again. Jabres, until we meet next time in our next episode of item 3.